我刚看那边有个长相特别普通的男生啊，但那旁边站了一个特别漂亮的女生。
I was just at a matchmaking park and saw a rather plain-looking guy standing next to a very beautiful and stylish girl. At first, I thought they would probably end up as a match, but it turned out, it was the guy who actively rejected the pretty girl's approach. I found it quite strange at first, so I asked a few more questions, and only then did I understand the story behind it. This guy, born in 1990, is a local from Ningbo. He works as a civil servant and earns about 180,000 yuan per year, stable and respectable, the kind of man who's quite desirable in today's real-world marriage market, and the type parents consider reliable. He himself admitted that the girl's looks were exactly his type. But still, he firmly said, impossible, for just one reason. The girl currently works as a waitress in a nightclub. The guy was very straightforward. He said he's not here to fool around or casually date someone. He came to find a wife, seriously. And for him, women who work in nightclubs are completely out of the question. He believes that women in that line of work are constantly surrounded by wealthy second-generation heirs, and the environment is extremely messy. He also said that after staying in that kind of environment for a long time, people's mindset tends to be shaped by the fast money. Once they get used to that lifestyle, it's really hard for them to readjust and settle back into a normal, peaceful life. What bothers him even more is the nature of that job. It means the girl herself probably has no idea how many men she's held hands with, or how many intimate interactions she's had. The atmosphere in that kind of place, he said, is just not something he could ever accept. He even mentioned that when he was younger and less experienced, he had dated someone with a similar background, and ended up being badly cheated on in that relationship. He was deeply hurt. He said, I'm just an ordinary man. If I want to marry someone, I'll need to rely on my parents' lifetime savings to make the down payment on a house, buy a car, and pay for the bride price. I've worked so hard for so many years. Isn't it all for the sake of finding someone who can live a stable life with me? Then why should I choose a girl I can't even build basic trust with? What exactly would I be getting out of that? After saying all this, he asked me in return, with a girl like that, no matter how pretty she is, would I really dare to marry her and bring her home?
离婚了，兄弟们。其实已经离了1半个多月了。
Divorced now, brothers. Actually, I've been divorced for over half a month already. Today, a surge of emotions suddenly hit me, and I wanted to come here to talk about how I feel. Consider it a reminder for you all as well. First of all, the deepest lesson I've learned is this: never be too indulgent with your wife, especially when she brings up requests that seem like normal ways to relax, like playing mahjong, going to bars, or drinking and hanging out with friends. If she often goes out to have fun and never takes you with her, then you need to be alert. I was way too trusting of her before. At first, she just said she wanted to go to the bar occasionally to unwind, and that she was going with good friends, and wouldn't stay out too late. I didn't think much of it, because I understood she was tired from taking care of the kid, and I felt it was fine if she went out to a bar to relax once in a while. In the end, what started as going out occasionally turned into a habit of frequently going out. Slowly, she no longer cared about the family at all. Eventually, she straight up went to work at a nightclub, doing marketing. At first, I tried to understand her, but to hit her sales targets, she started drinking and entertaining different men every night, getting off work at 2 or 3 in the morning, and then going out for late-night meals with clients. Those meals would last until 7 or 8 in the morning. To be honest, no matter how tolerant a man is, it's hard to accept a lifestyle like that. So in the end, we still ended up getting divorced. No fighting, no screaming, just a deep sense of disappointment and helplessness. Brothers, I want to use my own experience to tell you this. Even if you trust her, there must still be boundaries. Between a husband and wife, there has to be mutual respect and limits. If you keep giving in and indulgently allow everything without principles, in the end, the one who gets hurt the most might be you.
在夜场代购的婆娘是坚决不能要的啊。
Involved with women from nightclubs, brothers, I'm telling you, absolutely do not marry them. This principle must be remembered at all costs. Never take chances thinking you'll be the lucky one to take over this kind of woman. Otherwise, not only will your feelings be deceived, but your money will be drained too. In the end, you'll be left with nothing, Neither the woman nor the money, and by the time you regret it, it'll be too late. In the past couple of years, the nightclub industry has been declining. Many women who used to work there, seeing fewer and fewer options, have begun to pivot. Some, with better looks, went into live streaming, using beauty and flattery to fish for tips and gold-digging opportunities. Those with average looks repackaged themselves, presenting as gentle, understanding women who want to settle down, pretending to be looking for marriage, but in truth, still after money. Then there's the more ruthless kind, those who outright hunt for a nice guy to take over and marry them, just to secure a stable life for the rest of their years. But the most tragic ones are always these so-called nice guys. Just yesterday, I heard a story from a man born in 1982. He drives a taxi for a living, and 3 years ago, he spent 100,000 yuan on a bride price to marry a woman. At first, life after marriage seemed fine. The wife looked normal and behaved decently. But the moment their child was born, her true colors came out. She started smoking, drinking, playing mahjong all night, and was often gone till morning. She didn't even care about their child. Later, he found out that this woman had worked in nightclubs in another city for many years, far from being any sort of virtuous wife and loving mother. In the end, the guy bit the bullet and divorced her. The money? Gone. The woman? Gone. Thankfully, he got custody of the child. Otherwise, it would have been a total disaster. Let me be clear, I'm not discriminating against people just because they've worked in nightclubs. But I have to speak responsibly and honestly. Women who come from that environment are really not suitable to be wives. Their daily lives are surrounded by all kinds of smooth-talking men. Their work environment is filled with temptation, emotional manipulation, and constant transactions driven by desire and money. When someone stays in that kind of setting long enough, it's incredibly easy to become materialistic, calculating, even morally skewed. You think you can bring her back to a family life, living modestly, eating simple meals, taking care of kids, and doing housework? That's too much to hope for. She's already used to the bright lights and quick money of nightlife. She has no desire, and honestly no ability, to adapt to a plain, peaceful life. So, brothers, remember this one thing. It's better to stay single for life than to try and turn a nightclub girl into your wife. Don't let a moment of beauty or sweetness fool you. The price is just too high. Did you hear me loud and clear?
A lot of people ask me, are women who come from bars and nightclubs suitable for marriage? Brothers, absolutely not. Marrying them? That's basically asking for trouble. Don't even start talking about love and all that. Bro, it's not like you've never seen a woman before, right? It's like this. It's totally fine if your family can't afford a private car, but you can always rent one, right? But here's the thing, you ride a shared bike and forget to return it, it'll keep charging you. You take a shared power bank home, and it'll deduct your entire deposit. Marrying a woman like that is the exact same thing. You think you've gotten a bargain, but in the end, you're the one getting charged non-stop, drained dry. Women who hang out in nightclubs and bars, what haven't they seen in that world of neon lights and endless partying? Their lives revolve around indulgence, and their vanity has already inflated to the sky. They're used to making quick money, drink a little, chat a bit, act cute, and someone pays the bill. They simply don't want to and are fundamentally unwilling to settle down into a plain life, staying with one man, raising kids, cooking meals, living simply. To be honest, I have to tell you about a friend of mine. Back then, he married his wife just because she looked beautiful. He didn't think twice, just went ahead with it, even gave a bride price of 200,000 yuan. Not long after they got married, her true colors showed. After their kid was born, she didn't even take care of the baby. She was out messing around with different men every day, men picking her up for drinks and card games downstairs changed daily. In their 8 years of marriage, she didn't work a single day. He supported the whole family alone and spent more than 1 million yuan. In the end, she would even hide to make calls and send messages, just to avoid him seeing. And how did it all end? Divorce. That bro later told me. The thing he regrets most in life was being fooled by a pretty face and good figure, ending up marrying a woman who came from a bar or nightclub. He thought he had found a goddess on earth, but what he actually got was a walking disaster. A woman who worships vanity, craves pleasure, and loves the life of excess and indulgence. How could she possibly live a calm, peaceful life with you? Brothers, seriously, take my advice. Nowadays, many bars, nightclubs, and KTVs have already shut down. Those little sisters who were used to fast money suddenly found themselves out of options, so they started infiltrating the dating scene, pretending to look for love. You think they're here for real feelings? Wrong. They're here to fish for free meals, gifts, and even dowry money. Dinner traps, gift traps, bride price scams. These tricks come one after another, and you won't even see it coming. All it takes is one slip-up and you'll become the next sucker, completely cleaned out like a piece of chives ready to be harvested. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm saying this because I really don't want to see you all get screwed over. You've worked so hard to save up money to build a good mindset. Don't let it all be destroyed by a fake woman. Remember this one line. Treasure your life, stay far away from nightclub women. These kinds of women are not the type you can handle. Don't even dream about changing or redeeming them. You're not the king they're looking for. You're just the next ATM on their journey. Wake up, brothers. Don't be the next guy picking up the pieces.
最好不要跟混夜场的女人、夜场女谈恋爱。
A word of advice to those young men who are still inexperienced and lack emotional maturity. As someone who's been through it, I really want to remind you. You'd better not get romantically involved with women who work in nightclubs, also known as nightclub girls. And definitely don't go all in chasing them, pouring your money, time, and especially your feelings into them. The deeper you fall, the harder you crash, and in the end, you'll likely be left broken and defeated. Because from the very beginning, these women were never yours. They usually have a certain level of beauty, and yes, I understand that rush of excitement you feel when you see them, but even if you can't help it, you must force yourself to calm down. Want to date her? Don't be in such a rush to fantasize. She may not even see you as worthy, unless you're extremely handsome or financially well off to the point where she chases you instead. Let's take a closer look at their lifestyle. A nightclub girl's daily routine is to sleep during the day, wake up around 3 or 4 in the afternoon to put on makeup and get ready, and then start working at night. This kind of reversed day and night schedule completely clashes with most normal men's routines. You're working when she's asleep, and you're off work when she's just getting started. With such mismatched lives, it's nearly impossible to spend meaningful time together. Over time, misunderstandings, arguments, and exhaustion will replace that initial spark of passion. This kind of relationship is hard to sustain. If you truly decide to get involved with them, then you must be mentally prepared and have extreme emotional endurance and patience. To be blunt, the possibility of being cheated on is something you must face head-on. Why? Because they interact with way too many men every day. Without exaggeration, it's at least 3 to 5 men a day. That's dozens, even hundreds in a month. And your so-called deep confessions and romantic lines? To them, they've heard it all before. They've seen far more complex men than you, and your tricks won't even register. If she meets a man who's both handsome and willing to spend big, then you, let's be honest, getting cheated on is just a matter of time. You think she won't change her heart? Maybe not the first or second time, but as the saying goes, if you walk by the river often enough, your shoes are bound to get wet. There will always be men targeting her, and there will always be men who succeed. Do you know why most men in nightclubs approach these women? Let's not sugarcoat it. They all have ulterior motives. It's never just about eating and drinking. And she, as one of the resources in that scene, is constantly being watched and pursued. It's part of her life. Once you fall in love with her, once you get emotionally attached, you might find that your entire life is ruined. You'll struggle to start a healthy relationship ever again. So, if you're currently in such a relationship stage, I urge you to calm down. Don't obsess. Don't fantasize. You need to understand, the moment she chose the shortcut, the nightclub path, she also embraced a lifestyle and mindset that is completely different from that of an ordinary girl. Her values, spending habits, views on love and relationships, all of them have changed. And you think you can change her? That's nearly impossible.
Never, ever develop a romantic relationship with a woman who works in a nightclub. Even if she sends you a message, don't reply. You need to understand they only have one ultimate goal: to make money. Don't fantasize that they can give you genuine emotional value, let alone love. Let me be blunt. These women are simply not capable of managing a marriage or a family. Why? Because they understand men too well, even better than you understand yourself. What kind of person you are, she can see through it in a second. They know how to tease you, how to hook you. In their world, there's only one word: money. Love? Marriage? They don't care about any of that. And don't even think about marrying a woman who works in a nightclub. Some brothers just can't resist the beauty, the figure, the gentleness, and attentiveness of nightclub women. And what happens? One after another, they fall into the trap. Some even get drained of hundreds of thousands of yuan in just a month. You think they like you? Wrong. They're just acting. All that gentleness is fake. All that affection is just a scheme. If you say, "I just want to date," then I'm telling you this: you're still just a target to be drained. To put it bluntly, as long as you're willing to spend money, she'll agree to anything. But the moment she doesn't need you anymore, she'll turn around and leave faster and more ruthlessly than a divorced woman. Some people's experiences will absolutely shatter your worldview. Their job in the nightclub world is, at its core, to lure you into spending money. If you want to go there and spend, that's your freedom. But if you can't resist their beauty and figure and keep fantasizing about falling in love with them and building a life together, then you're just asking for suffering. Do you agree with my point of view? Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.